This video is a follow along to reflect on January and plan for February. So let's take a deep breath, hold it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. January is over and let's reflect and plan for February. You can pause the video now, get a drink, light up a candle, grab a notebook, and follow along. I'm also going to go through these exercises at the same time, so we're in this together. I will make sure all the questions are on the screen, but if you would like, you can purchase the guide on Etsy, and if you want to print it out like I did, you're welcome to do that, or you can just use a notebook. First question for today's guide is, what are your highlights for the month? I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes, okay? So you can use your calendar and write as many highlights that you remember for this month, starting now. It has been 5 minutes. After doing all your highlights, you're going to circle the moments that meant the most to you and ask yourself what made them stand out. So I'm going to give us 3 minutes for this. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. And this part is always interesting for me. When I think about which moments meant the most to me and why they stand out, it always comes back to what I value. My main highlights or what moments meant the most was actually couples counseling, the polar bear dip, and finance night with my friends are 3 moments in January that really stood out to me. And the reason for that is because I value growth. And when I go out of my comfort zone and do something hard, it's always rewarding afterwards. And another value of mine is connections with others. So when I'm having these counseling sessions and building a connection with my partner, or in finance nights when we're able to have conversations that wouldn't have otherwise happened unless we planned it, it makes me feel closer to people. And that's something I value. And the polar bear dip combines multiple values for me. It's being in nature, but also doing it with friends and also doing something hard. Okay, let's move on to the next part. The next question is, what are you most proud of this month? So take a moment to give yourself some credit and list anything you'd like, small, big, it doesn't matter. Let's do 3 minutes for this one. Beep. Okay, how did that go? Me, I am proud of myself for going for runs even though I didn't feel like it this month. I'm proud of myself for being introspective and really thinking about trying new things and methods to find a system that works for me. I'm proud of myself for talking to strangers this month. I'm proud of myself for doing creative work. So there's this quote that's just been in my head this whole month, and my mantra this month is creation gives you energy. And I notice when I doom scroll or do any mindless consuming, I feel tired afterwards. And so my focus now is creation, because creating things gives me energy. And then the final thing I'm proud of is prioritizing my sleep this month. I will turn off the Wi-Fi before bed, make sure my phone is not in my bedroom, and dim the lights in the evening so that I can get ready for bed. And as a result, I've been having about 8 hours of sleep each day, and quality sleep. Like I can really feel a difference when I wake up from my sleep. So the next one is, what important lessons did you learn this month? So I'm gonna give you 3 minutes for this as well, starting now. Minutes is always longer than I expect. I don't know about you, but it's more than enough time for me to try to think of things until I can't think of anything anymore. Okay, so the lessons I learned this month is that the best lessons come from real life moments, not theories. I realized, especially through counseling, that in theory I know what's best and what to do. However, in the moment of tension or in the moment of stress or other things, it's hard to practice and it's hard to do that thing. So until you keep trying and noticing your patterns and practicing to try new patterns or try new behaviors is when you really learn. So every day is a new opportunity to practice the things you already know. Other lessons that I realize is that I think a lot, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I actually have way more thoughts than I realized as I started to journal more this month. I'm like, wow, I have a lot of introspective thoughts in a positive way. There's so much wisdom that's coming out when I have more time for silence and pauses. And then another thing I noticed this month is that reducing the amount of stimulus I have in my life boosts my productivity. And what I mean by that is before in the past, I would listen to music, listen to a podcast as I'm cleaning and multitasking all the time. And I decided that, you know what, I'm just gonna try to not listen to music, to not listen to a podcast while I'm cleaning. And oh my gosh, I don't know, I just have more mental clarity in the day because I only have so much room in my brain for stimulus. And so doing that has made me feel more calm, I felt more productive, I felt more present as I was doing things. I felt more whole with my body and more grounded. Try not listening to music for 3 days or not listening to a podcast for 3 days. Because again, going back to that lesson number 1, which is the best lessons come from real life moments, not theories. Okay, my rant is over. The next question is, did you step outside your comfort zone? If so, how? And if not, what held you back? Let's give ourselves another 3 minutes for this one. Beep. Okay. There are several things that I did that stepped out of my comfort zone, such as posting the YouTube video, reaching out to mentors to have meetings with them, talking to strangers, playing floor hockey because it's a new sport I'm trying, and also another one that was stepping out of my comfort zone is complimenting people in the moment as I am having those thoughts. Usually I will think something but not always share it. If there's something positive that I am thinking and it might, make someone's day, then why not share those thoughts? There's no downside of complimenting. And the things that held me back, I won't go into too specifics here, but sometimes I hold back affection because it feels too vulnerable. So there are moments in the month where I could have been more loving, I could have been more affectionate, but I held back because it was a little bit scary. Okay, next question is, what's one thing you would do differently and why? I think you only need one minute for this question because there's one thing that you would do differently. It's been a minute. The first thing that came to my mind is what I would do different is having more moments of silence, breathing in fresh air. I stay in too much. Just stepping outside sometimes and taking a deep breath of fresh air just feels so nice. And I need to do that more often. So that's what I would do differently. So let's go do that right now. Just gonna take a moment to breathe because I'm feeling like we need a little break. Go ahead, take a 5-minute stretch. Do what you like, but I'm gonna just take a moment to reset myself, do a little stretch, and we will be back for the second part of the session. We're almost done. Okay. The next question we have here is, who made the biggest positive impact on you this month? It could be someone online, it could be someone in person, it could be anything you want that made the biggest positive impact for you this month. Okay, let's give ourselves 1 minute here. Ready and go. It's been 1 minute. Of course, if you need more time, you can pause the video and finish this question. For this next question, I'm gonna give ourselves 3 minutes for it. What patterns or behaviors did you notice in yourself? Are they helping or holding you back? 3 minutes, here we go. All right, so for myself, I put patterns that are helpful versus holding me back into two categories. And things that have been holding me back is not prioritizing well. So sometimes in a day, I'll just do a bunch of random things and realize I didn't even think about my priorities that day, and that's not helpful. Whenever I don't have a rich protein meal in my first meal of the day, I feel more tired. I have more of a crash. So that's holding me back when I'm eating too much carbohydrates in the beginning of my day and not enough protein. Another thing holding me back is not putting things back where they belong and not having those small moments of cleanup. Because I notice when my space is a mess, my mind is also a mess, and it's hard to get things done when everything's everywhere. So putting things back where they belong after using them and having those small moments of tidy throughout the day can really make a difference for my productivity. Things that have been helpful this month have been being more reflective, has given me better abilities to problem solve in a deeper place. I noticed that I've been pretty good at evaluating without judgment, kind of looking at my life and my days and reflecting on them to see where I can shift. I noticed simplifying things has been helpful. I can't do too many things at once. So having too many goals at once is not really helpful. And then another thing that's been really helpful for me is taking some time to plan the next day. Even if it's 5 minutes to think about what's happening tomorrow. When I set that intention the day before, my day becomes a lot smoother and there's no guesswork in it, and I feel more fulfilled by the end of the day. All right, enough talking here. Let's dive into goal setting and setting our priorities for February. The first question is, what is one priority you want to focus on next month that aligns with your long-term dreams? Now, before we get into this section, I do encourage you to spend about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to review your New Year goals. So if you haven't done that yet, I do have a guide for reviewing 2024 and reflecting on 2025 and setting your intentions for the year. I do have the guide available on Etsy. It's quite comprehensive and you might need, I'm gonna say, a few hours to work on it. So I'm just gonna spend some time here to quickly review myself of the intentions and goals that I had for 2025 before doing this next final section of our monthly review. Now let's give ourselves about 1 minute here to answer the question. What is one priority you want to focus on next month that aligns with your long-term goals? Starting now. Okay, my one priority for February will be to focus on YouTube. I'm setting an intention with YouTube, which is the two words that I came up with for this priority is deep work and reflection. So I don't want to just mindlessly post videos, but I want to be reflective of the videos I'm creating and having some deep work to really think about my intentions. So that will be my focus for February. The next question is, what are you most excited about for next month? I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to review your next month and write down anything you're excited for. For February, the things I'm most excited for is having my virtual catch up with my two best friends, one who lives in Korea, one who lives locally, but it's been a while since we've done this and I do miss it. I'm excited for swimming lessons and continuing to learn how to swim as an adult. I'm excited to have a dine out dinner, which is an event that happens in Vancouver where restaurants create these menus. And I'm excited for my sister and brother-in-law to be finally back from their 1 year of traveling. And finally, I am excited to track my emotions this month because I was tracking my emotions in January, all the times I felt more, all the times I cried, and being a bit more curious about how my cycle affects me is such an interesting topic. And so I'm so excited to see how, if there's any patterns that I see from last month and this month. All right, so for this final section of our goal setting here, you're going to write down the 3 main goals that you had for 2025, okay? And based on this and based on your 1 priority, I want you to create and schedule in the to-do list items that you want to accomplish in February. Set the time to work on these goals so that you don't forget them. So I'm gonna rewrite my 3 goals here, and then I'm gonna spend some time putting these goals that I had into my calendar so that they are set and ready for me to do. Because we only have so much time in a day, and there's a lot of other commitments that we have, and so if we don't schedule in time to work on our goals, they will not happen. I'm gonna give ourselves 5 minutes for this. However, it might take you longer, so of course, feel free to pause. Okay, so I'm not done. I probably need another 5 minutes, so I'm gonna take another 5 minutes. Feel free to join me or do whatever you like. that is it. Thanks so much for joining me and planning February together. If you like this kind of video, please let me know, comment below, like the video, and I will do more of these monthly reflections. It's a good reminder for us to have some moments of pause, because it really makes a huge difference if we just spend an hour a month to reflect on how the month went and what we're gonna do moving forward. I feel like I'm much more motivated after doing this. And that is it. Linda signing off. Thanks so much for joining me.